Hello, everyone. Wyatt Claypool here. I've noticed over time as Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the federal Liberals fall further and further behind Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives, not only has their rhetoric and attacks on the Conservatives gotten more desperate and pathetic, they're also just not effective at all anymore. They haven't thought any of this stuff through, and they just assume trying to swing at the Conservatives is good enough in order to try and dig themselves out of the polling hole that they're in. It's not working, and I think that this is a perfect example. So recently, Sean Fraser, the Liberals Housing Minister, and Justin Trudeau himself have been trying to take jabs at Poilievre because members of the Conservative caucus have been requesting that their communities be able to access the Housing Accelerator Fund. They think that this is a great gotcha. And it is the typical sort of stupid online gotcha type politics that you see all over the place. But you don't see it all over the place because it's effective. It's because it's lazy and stupid. To the average voter, they're either not going to understand what the heck this tack is actually about, and two, if they do understand it, they're just going to think that Justin Trudeau is an idiot. I'll show you that here in just a second. But before I get into that, I do just want to quickly plug, if you don't currently subscribe to this YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button and like this video. I know about 75% of people who watch any given video I make don't actually subscribe. And then if you want to support the show, you can always donate to the legal fund in the description below, as well as pinned at the top of the comments. But anyways, here is a post by Justin Trudeau himself, and I always like to use the Liberals' own social media to highlight my point. I'm not pulling a clip out of context, him saying something that he didn't really mean, or it wasn't his best swing at Poilievre, and I'm using sort of his whiffs to show that Trudeau sucks or something like that. No, this is Trudeau's best foot forward in his own opinion, or he wouldn't have posted it. So Justin Trudeau says, Pierre Poilievre wants to cut the housing construction underway across Canada. Does he know his own MPs are going behind his back to support our plan? Okay, I'm going to let him talk, but that's not what's happening at all here.
But again, if you don't believe me, maybe you'll believe the 18 Conservative MPs who said clearly that they think those cuts are a bad idea. Pierre Poilievre likes to go around saying the country is broken and then demonstrates that he's the one proposing to break it. He's announced that he's going to...
I'm sorry, but did Poilievre force the GDP per capita fall? My goodness, this is so silly.
Cut the housing accelerator funding, billions of dollars to municipalities. You don't have to take my word for it. We're seeing mayors and leaders from different orders of government across the country speaking out against the billions of dollars in cuts that is the Conservative Party's solution to solving a housing crisis.
Here's the thing. Municipal level politicians will always like getting more money. They will always like the idea that the Housing Accelerator Fund gives them more cash to play with. It's useless cash in the sense that you had to follow so many extra federal level environmental regulations, labor regulations, building codes, and whatnot, that it doesn't actually speed up any house building in general. But of course, a mayor's not going to turn down a lot of money, especially lefty mayors like Olivia Chow and Jody Gondek. But this is like, nobody's actually thinking that we'd be worse off if we cut this program, because housing starts have been going down every single year this program has existed, because dollars do not actually get regulations out of the way in order to build easier. It's pretending to get regulations out of the way by trying to eliminate zoning around the country, but zoning was never the problem. We had cheap housing with zoning. It was the environmental regulations, extra taxes, and a lot of other things that they added on to the real estate development industry that has made it unaffordable. And now he's going to say that, well, a bunch of conservatives think it's a great idea, and then I'm going to explain that.
It doesn't make any sense. But again, if you don't believe me, and if you don't believe mayors from all different parties across the country, maybe you'll believe the 18 Conservative MPs who said clearly that they think those cuts are a bad idea, including two BC Conservative MPs, Dan Albas and Frank Caputo. But Pierre Poilievre's not interested in investing to solve the housing crisis. Cuts to programs doesn't help a single Canadian get into an affordable home.
Okay, do you know what he's trying to do here? He's trying to pretend that 18 Conservative MPs requesting that their communities get some of the Accelerator Fund money equals they support the program. That's not how it works. Let's go back to 2009 in the United States. So when Obama became the president of the United States, he passed a massive stimulus package that gave local governments money to build infrastructure. It was an extremely bloated program. It really didn't get that much done. It didn't really get that much more built than what was already going to be built. In fact, it was one of those situations where the amount of extra federal regulations and building codes and labor codes you had to follow meant that most of the money just went to servicing the costs incurred by extra government like scrutiny. So it ended up being useless. But if you are a local congressperson, or if you're like the congressperson for a local area, you can think that the stimulus plan sucks. You're also not going to be stupid enough to say that I don't think my community should get any money for a bridge, even if it's inefficient spending. If the spending is already going into the dumpster fire, you might as well collect some of it yourself. This is what many MPs in the Conservative Party have been doing. Michael Cooper, Dan Albus there, Frank Caputo, many other Conservative MPs who are saying, yes, I don't like the program. It's inefficient spending. But if you're going to spend the money, I will take some of it into my community. I'm not just going to take nothing. If you had to forego if your community had to forego any program that an MP didn't agree with the efficiency of, there would be so many programs that would just be completely shut out of certain parts of the country. And so then that Conservative MP would be attacked for not taking advantage of the money on the table. So it's this stupid gotcha game, lose-lose scenario for the Conservatives. You want to cut the useless program, but you also try and take advantage of it for your community because, some money is better. Some inefficient dollars are better than absolutely nothing while your taxpayers are still paying for it. Or you don't take advantage of it, and then you can be attacked by saying, look at the millions of dollars you kept from going to your community. Now you are not going to be able to resurface the roads around here. Now you're not going to be able to build the 2 houses that the plan tried to build in your area slightly faster. It's one of these stupid scenarios where Trudeau, by dumping money into a burning barrel, is trying to bait people into accepting some of it before it all goes up in flames. So here's another thing he said that kind of highlights exactly what's going on here. Justin Trudeau says, who's going to tell him, under above a Toronto Star headline that says another Tory MP wants Liberal housing money that Pierre Poilievre has pledged to cut, which also shows that he was full of it. He never said that they supported the program. Justin Trudeau said they're going behind his back to say that they don't want the program cut. That's not what happened at all. What obviously happened here, which is what the Toronto Star headline is hinting at, is they just requested their communities be able to access the money that is being spent. That is not support. That is saying that if you're going to spend it, I will take some of it. But this is all Justin Trudeau has. This is weak. This is not anything that's going to attract voters. Think about how long you'd have to take to explain to a voter why the Conservatives are hypocrites on this specific issue without spilling the beans that, well, why wouldn't this person want the money if it's being spent? This is just not how politics works. The thing is that if the government money is going out, an MP's job is to make sure the community isn't cut out from all of it. That's why Conservative politicians, especially in the West, have tended to disagree with equalization. It is taking a disproportionate amount of Alberta's taxpayer dollars and spending it in the East. That's why a lot of people will want more taxpayer dollars moved back to Alberta. It's not because they think the government spending levels are legitimate. They just want more of it being spent in Alberta. Albertans, like myself, want less overall government spending, but we also don't want to have to pay taxes, but then also get nothing for it. We will want the maximum we can get for our taxpayer dollars if the taxpayer dollars are going to be spent. This is just the weakest thing I've ever seen at all. This is the weakest attack I've ever seen from Justin Trudeau on the Conservatives. Anyways, that's it for me today, guys. If you want to make sure you see all the videos I put out, subscribe to the channel, hit the subscribe button like I said before. And if you want to support me, you can always donate to the Give, Send, Go in the description below, as well as pinned at the top of the comments. And also pinned at the top of the comments is my website if you want to sign up to get leadership and nomination recommendations for federal and provincial parties. That's right there. It just allows me to be able to email you in a specific area and let you know about nominations happening in your areas or leadership races. If you're in Manitoba or New Brunswick, definitely sign up because you are going to be having PC leadership races within the next year here. Anyways, that's it for me today, guys. Have a good one.